Yo, what's up guys? Jab here, back with a brand new video. It has been quite a minute since we've talked about Warzone Mobile here on the channel, but I wanted to talk a little bit about it because I saw some stuff in the news in regards to Warzone on PC and consoles and how that stuff is going, and I think it might actually end up affecting Warzone Mobile in a really negative way if it goes down the way I think it might. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, before I stopped uploading for several months, you'll already know my thoughts on Warzone Mobile. But if you haven't seen my videos before, basically Warzone Mobile is a game that I thought had a ton of potential, and I actually did enjoy when it did work. But the problem, of course, was that it had a lot of optimization issues, so that kind of kept me from actually making content on it and playing it in my free time, and that also led to me making a lot of videos criticizing the game, and it's kind of warranted because the game has kind of been broken since it released, even before then, honestly, and we're basically almost a year into its initial release and it's still kind of broken. Like you'll see in this gameplay video here, I'm playing on an iPhone 14 Pro, not the newest iPhone of course, but certainly not a low-end iPhone, and the game is still struggling to run consistently. There's frequent frame drops and freezes and stuff like that, and that's with a cooler connected to my phone too, by the way. So the game is just not in a good state even almost a year after the initial release, and that kind of leads me to the main point of this video. Of course, people have been talking about Warzone Mobile shutting down pretty much since it has released because of the various issues that this game has had, but it's not just Warzone Mobile that's facing these issues. Warzone on PC and console has also been facing a ton of similar issues in regards to optimization, and even beyond that, things like network issues, rampant cheating. It's just kind of crazy how controversial Warzone has been, to the point of a lot of dedicated Warzone streamers, content creators and stuff, they've simply moved on from the game. Here's a quick little graph that you can see that showcases Twitch streams, for example, data in regards to Warzone Twitch streams and how that number has declined over the last few months just because of all of the various issues that Warzone has been facing. And apparently Activision is kind of going all in on this next update for Warzone that's coming on April 3rd, which is bringing back Verdansk to the main Warzone game. And if it doesn't work out, it could be a really bad thing for both Warzone and Warzone Mobile. So apparently there is a lot riding on this next update for Warzone, the one that's coming out on April 3rd. They're bringing Verdansk back to Warzone on PC and consoles. Obviously, Warzone Mobile has had this since the beginning, essentially, but they're bringing it back to the main PC game. And apparently a lot is riding on this update. They basically are hoping that this update is going to bring back a ton of people that have since moved on from Warzone. And if it doesn't go through that way, like if they end up not getting their player base back, apparently Warzone might not make it until 2026. And that's kind of crazy because Warzone has been a staple now for the Call of Duty franchise as a whole pretty much since 2020, the last 5 years. And the fact that if this update doesn't go good and if it doesn't fix a lot of the issues and doesn't bring back that core audience, it basically means that next year we could see the end of Warzone. Now, why does this even relate to Warzone Mobile? Well, obviously, if the main Warzone game is not doing well, and if it is potentially going to end up being sunsetted or shut down, however you'd like to call it, obviously, if that game is going to be affected, then Warzone Mobile is not in a good spot then. A lot seems to be riding on this new update for Warzone coming April 3rd. And, it's apparently going to be a big one because, of course, they're getting Verdansk. There's going to be new content and stuff like that. But if it isn't enough, it's not going to be good for Warzone PC, and it's especially not going to be good for Warzone Mobile. We already know that Warzone Mobile has been struggling literally since it's released. Microsoft, as we all remember back in September of 2024, Microsoft has already laid part of the team off from Warzone Mobile. There has been like a reduce in updates in their social media presence and stuff like that. It's not been looking good for Warzone Mobile for a long time now, and now Warzone on PC is kind of following that same trend. So if this next update doesn't go well, I don't think it's going to be good for either game. And if things don't improve with Warzone on PC and consoles, I just don't see how they're going to discontinue that game and then continue supporting the mobile game that's not doing well too. I feel like they would probably just kind of retire the entire concept of Warzone itself, and so that would basically mean that there would be no more Warzone on any platform. I know there is a lot of dedicated Warzone players that are still playing the game. All 13 of you are probably enjoying it and stuff, but the reality of it is that it's just not doing well. It hasn't been doing well. It's not making that much money. We've covered that in previous videos. It hasn't been getting that many downloads. It hasn't really been bringing players back to the game that didn't initially, you know, have a good experience or anything. And even now, almost a year into the release, the technical issues are still there. If anything, they're sometimes worse in some cases, depending on the update, especially since that Black Ops 6 integration. And it just doesn't really look good for the game. At the very least, before, you did have the hope that they weren't going to shut down Warzone Mobile because it was syncing up with Warzone on PC and consoles, and of course they weren't going to stop supporting that game. So as long as they supported Warzone on PC and consoles, Warzone Mobile would most likely still exist. But now that Warzone might be in trouble, that kind of just it just makes me think like, oh damn, like it might be, you know, a few months, it might be another year, but there's a real possibility that this time next year there is no more Warzone, there is no more Warzone Mobile. It's just done. Like it just never recovers, and Activision just decides to cut the cord and focus on purely, you know, the main Call of Duty experience. I really don't hope this happens. I don't like it when mobile games you know, end up shutting down. We've seen a lot of them shut down over the last couple of years. I've talked a lot about them here on the channel in various videos and stuff. We just had a couple others shut down. For example, Dead by Daylight Mobile is shutting down. You know, I don't like when these games shut down. I like having the option of having these games on Android and iOS, even if we don't play them every single day or whatever it is. But the reality of it is that it feels like a lot of these mobile games have kind of been lackluster. They've kind of fallen flat with the community, and they've all had their fair share of issues. Warzone Mobile especially, it's probably one of the best examples we could use for that. And unfortunately, it feels like it might be headed towards that trend where these games just eventually get shut down. I really don't hope that's the case. In my, you know, perfect world or whatever, Warzone Mobile would be fixed. It would get meaningful updates. It would get playable, you know, experience for most people and stuff, and we would all enjoy it, and it would stay around for many, many years and stuff. But the reality of it is that that just has not been the case, and we haven't really seen anything to actually give us confidence in thinking that that's actually going to happen. I would love to be wrong, because I would love for these games to stop shutting down and instead improve, and I would love for the mobile community to be willing to give games a second chance once they do improve and stuff. But we have to kind of face, you know, the actual reality of the situation, and the reality of it is that Warzone Mobile has been in trouble for a long time now. Warzone on PC and consoles is now in a lot of trouble seemingly, and if things don't improve very, very quickly, I don't know. If these insiders are correct, then Activision might just decide, you know what, it's not worth the trouble. This costs too much money. It takes up too much resources and manpower. They might just decide to completely cut it out and just focus on the actual moneymaker, which is, of course, the main Call of Duty games. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys think that Warzone Mobile is in trouble? And if you play Warzone on PC and consoles, do you think that game's in trouble too? What's been your experience so far playing Warzone on PC and consoles over the last few months? Very interested in hearing what you guys have to say about this topic. But with all of that being said, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Subscribe, motherfucker.